Good night, good night, good night, good night, everyone. A pleasant good evening to you all. Good morning, wherever you are. Let me welcome you to this another episode of the Saudi Crest Show. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, I ask that you tune in keenly as per usual. Tonight is our regular Monday night show, and of course, we'll be looking at football. And I can tell you, we have a guest here, an extraordinary guest, if you ask me, one that have loads of experience in football administration. I must say, probably one of the Reggae Boys are Jamaica most ardent fan as it relates to football. Ladies and gentlemen, his name is Captain Keith White. And you know, when I said captain, that should ring a bell. The fact that I said captain, then you know the Reggae Boys, of course, has the best you can think of. Help me welcome tonight Captain Keith White. Captain, welcome to the Saudi Quest Show.
Good evening, Saudi. Pleasure to be here.
It's all, man. It's all. I must say, Captain, this is the first ball I will bowl at you, but as customary on the Saudi Quest Show, I rather the guests to introduce themselves, especially when you look at the things that you wear, the hats that you wear, your involvement, the accolades that you have. I really don't want to miss anything at all. I don't want to be chastised for leaving out not even a dot or a cross of a T. So, in short, Captain, can you just let the viewers know who Captain White is?
Okay, well, you say starting off with a ball. That's a very difficult ball, especially for me, because it's not easy to blow your old trumpet. At least not for me, anyway. I know I have some people who like to do that, but anyway, as far as football is concerned, you're speaking about football, right?
In general, even
In general.
outside of football, the captaincy, if I said it correct.
Okay, all right, yes, okay. All right, the captaincy is because I'm shortly retired, a professional airline pilot. So that's where the captain is from. Within
Okay.
the football circles, I think I'm probably more known as Major Keith White, and that's because I retired from the JDF as a major. And from the JDF, I played football for the JDF. I coached the team. I managed the team. I was in charge of the JDF football program for an extended period of time.
Wow.
We were able to convince the now famous Captain Horace Burrell to join our program. And he joined, and he did great things with our program. And then he left and went to greater heights to take over Jamaica's football, and stayed with JDF. And after I left JDF, I was asked to go back to help out with a club that I was with as a schoolboy. So as a schoolboy, I was with the UNN Football Club, and they merged with Marvelly and became Marvelly UNN. So I helped out there, and I was president of the Marvelly UNN Football Club for a number of years. So I'm still involved in football. I still help in different ways, and I'm active in different ways. So basically, I'll say that is it. There may be more to add, I guess. Someone else can do that.
I can tell you. So, people, you hear who the captain is. And I must say to you, if this is your first time joining the Saudi Crest Show, please, you need to participate as what all our viewers do. And for you to participate, you need to subscribe to the channel. And I must say to like and share. Just don't sit and enjoy the conversation, but participate. Let me hear your piece and help to support our program. So tonight we really ask Captain, we want to look into the prospect of the Reggae Boys winning the Gold Cup. I must say congratulations to the coaching staff, the team, and of course the real fans. And not just the real fans. Let me just change that around. But even to the wagonists of the Reggae Boys, let me say congratulations. We need to blow, we need to keep them going because it's in the air that many of us believe that this year will be the year that the Reggae Boys will win the Gold Cup. They are now in the semi-finals, and I'm sure that we are looking at least another step to the final again. But Captain, how have you seen this journey of the Reggae Boys? Like, it makes no sense I ask if you believe they would have reached so far. I know that you have believed that. But look at the journey.
Um, the journey is they are where I expect them to be, right? But as we all know in football, the beautiful game, right? There, nothing is guaranteed. No points are guaranteed. They don't add. The referee doesn't acknowledge near misses. You don't get points for near misses, or for playing well, or for looking pretty or skillful. You get points when you score more goals than your opponent, or you draw with them. But at this stage of the knockout, drawing isn't enough. Yeah. So so the team has played well, which playing well, of course, doesn't mean that there aren't areas that we could do better, that we could have done better at. There are areas like that. There are areas we need to strengthen. As is expected in a competition, the opponents and the problems get harder as we progress. So we look at it one step at a time, as we always do in competitions, as I always do. And the next obstacle is Mexico.
Mexico.
Yes, that's right.
We have played Mexico recently,
Yes, we
and
have.
that was I thought that we should have won. Um, Over the years, Mexico always been a hard nut to crack for Jamaica. We have, I can't remember how many times if we have really ever beat Mexico, and especially in a tournament like this. But this year, it's a different team.
Yes. Well, what I like about Mexico, and actually a lot of the Central American teams, well, CONCACAF generally, and you know, no team gives up easily. We have
True.
lost so many points and so many games in the last 5 or so minutes of the game. And that's because our opponents, they never say die. They keep coming at you and they try harder the more desperate it gets. And we have to do that. We have to play harder the closer we get to the victory. Mexico will be difficult. It doesn't matter who the players are that they put on the field. They're going to be playing for Mexico, and they will be difficult. They're in the semifinal, and that's the bad news.
You mentioned about never give up these Central American or North American teams. And we have lost games in the latter stages of the game. So isn't that we are don't reach a stage yet where we can hold off games or we can't play for a full 90 minutes? I know it's difficult to defend 1-0 in the very last stage of any game, but that means we are behind in terms of our opponents when it comes on to giving that rush or to stay up alive. I don't see we winning games or drawing games in the 88th minute or so on.
Yeah, it's a it's the mental part of the game of football, and the your spirit and your mental preparation, your whole psychology is perhaps the major part of most sports, you know. And I think that this team has it. They are, over the recent past, we have been very vulnerable to, balls coming across our area,
Sure.
you know. Yeah, we've been very vulnerable there. Seem to our coach, Mr. Halgriffson, I think he has ironed out a number of the problems. But the discipline that is required, I'm sure we have it. We can take it to Mexico and we can beat them. We're going to beat them.
I think we will. I think we will.
Yes,
But
for sure.
allow me to acknowledge our viewers so far. So Mr. Lee, good night, Sadi, and the guests. Good night, Mr. Lee. These men are regular on the show, if not every night. We also have RR, the monitor of this particular class, principal and captain, and one show, leadership. Over here of blessings. All right, RR, always full of vibes and talk. G Prento, Hill Sadi, and captain. And I'm sure you should know that name as well, captain.
Yes, I think he's one of the biggest wagonists I know.
Reggae Boyz Chances. You will respond to that.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, we beat the two giants in consecutive. Okay, good. Gold Cups, the second of the few time US and Mexico not meeting in the final. Yes, I remember that too. All right. So G Prento again, we always seem to draw with Mexico when we should have won. Same with the US. They always seem to come back in the last 2 to 5 minutes. That's what Captain alluded to, G Prento. We don't hold off. And these teams say never give up. Trevor, bless up Sadi and the great captain. I wonder if he just said the great captain because you go for the same blue team, man.
Yeah, we're rebuilding. We're rebuilding.
Rebuilding, the blues rebuilding.
Yes, we're rebuilding.
Yes, captain. So
But can I just say something about this title that Jamaicans give to wagonists? Yeah.
yes, go ahead.
So as someone who has been responsible for building teams and carrying them all the way through the pace, it's all the way up to winning the titles. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. We welcome wagonists. We welcome wagonists with open arms, right? The wagonists are the people who sit on the edge. Their seats are at the edge of the wagon, which means that when the wagon hits a bump, they tend to drop off. Right? But we welcome them. We need them, right? So those people who are wagonists, come on board, yes, and support your team. Right? Support, in this instance, it's Jamaica, and support Jamaica or whichever team it is. Right? You jump on board and support your team. It makes a difference.
Let us stay with the with the black, green, and gold team. We're not going to
That's right.
tonight. Right, G Prento? All right. So yes, Prento. I think time and game management has been a challenge to us in the past. Yes. But Coach Hallgrimson, as I believe, I think he's a more defensive mindset as it related to a coach and his philosophy. And I've seen it playing out because I've seen defensively we have a little more cohesive, and these players are not players who have been playing together for a long time. The present crop of players. How do you see the defensive part of this game?
The last game we played, we were leading 1-0, and the last two changes the coach made, if I recall, were two coaches at the forward line. He brought on Corey Burke and Nicholson, Shamar Nicholson. Not in that order. Like Shamar came on first. Needed to make the changes. Our forward line were getting leg weary, etc. But and it's always easy to second guess a coach. I thought that he would have adjusted to a more defensive formation. To put in an additional holding midfielder and leave one fit forward, up front for the counter attack because the opponents would have come at you. But that is just talk. I've coached myself, and I can tell you, when a coach is successful, everything else is just talk, right? The coach had a plan, he executed his plan, and it worked. So in an instance like that, you really need to say congratulations to the coach. So congratulations to the coach.
It's not that, Captain. Let me piggyback a bit. Yes, when a coach is successful, we just have to give it to him.
Oh, you
But
said defensively. Sorry to interrupt you,
go ahead.
because I, not for the first time, in the first 5 minutes or less of the game,
Mhm.
Lowe attempted to hold the ball, right? Allowed a forward to come and tackle him. I don't know if he was trying to beat the forward or whatever.
Yeah, I
And
saw
the
that.
forward dispossessed him, but we were able to recover. Now, if I do have a heart attack, I don't want it to be because of something that Lowe does on the football field. It's not the first time. Yeah, and I really, really hope that that when they review the game, the coach sort of brought him back to reality.
It's
Because
true.
as we have 2 more games to play, and we're not gonna be let off the hook like that against Mexico or whoever it is we face in the final.
You see, one other thing I recognize in the game too, with Low, so many times I've seen Low in attacking position and the run of play, not even because of a set play, but I've seen him maybe about 2 or 3 times in the opponent's box in the build up of play. I don't know how he reached there, at what point, and how he overlaps so often as a central defender. So he seems to be loving this football. He seems to be following the football too much, I believe.
Well, if he does overlap like that, if he plays I guess the person who made that sort of play famous is played maybe long before you were born. Franz Beckenbauer was famous for doing things like that, and I'm sure that the defense would not be doing that without the coach's blessing. And I'm also quite sure that when he does go forward, that there'll be
Of
that the
coverage.
team, yeah, man, that there'll be coverage. So I'm sure it's the coach who allows that, and it's strange. I try not to get drawn into doing things like this because it's really better to speak to. If there's something you have to say to a player, if and when you see the player, it's better to speak to them. Though, but I make the comment regardless. The There are very few persons I see on the field who, when they are in the air and they are heading offensively, right, are as good as Lowe is. Scored a brilliant goal in our first match, brilliant header.
That's true.
Yes, they took away a header that he scored on the USA back in Jamaica, which you'll recall.
That
You know,
that was a robbery, man.
I wouldn't say that. I'd just say St. Peter will pass this version, and whoever it is who determined to take away that goal.
Right. A really administrator.
But what I will say is that I want Lowe to be as aggressive on the ball when he's heading defensively, right?
True.
Yeah, that's what I need him to do, to go to it and meet it when
Yeah, that's
he's, yeah. If he could just do that, it would be fantastic.
Captain.
Yeah.
Before you make mention of the success that the coach has, but prior to the Gold Cup, Coach Algreaves has not won a game with this team. Where you have concern at any point of that record.
I'm always concerned about the record, and I'm concerned about the record not because of the coach's capability, but because our record when we play international matches affects our ranking, and our ranking affects other things that influence our football and also the ability for our players to go overseas, etc. But the Gold Cup, as I recall, is the first competition match. At the last matches of the World Cup campaign, that was really his team. But the Gold Cup are his first competition matches, and this is where it matters. So he would need to experiment with the games we played before. We should have had more games. We should have allowed him a lot more games.
Okay.
But you know how it is. It's like domino. You play with the hand you're drawn, not with the hand you wish you had. Right? So he should have had more games. He didn't. So he had to learn the players. Especially the local players. He had to see what they were like, etc., etc. Um, there are a couple of players I saw in the Jamaica Premier League who I thought needed a look in, but as it turns out, I think he had given them he had looked at them as well and given them a chance. So it's good. Yeah. Matter of fact, there were two forwards. There's one in the final. The two centre forwards, one from either side. I
Yes.
think
And this
for
and Stewart.
yeah, right. I think those guys actually look good. But he had a look at them and he gave them an opportunity. And maybe it is that he never saw exactly what he wanted at that time. You know.
I'm a bit concerned as it relates to the selection of the squad. Not that it is short, but as it relates to none of our local players who are actually applying their trade in the National Premier League were able to make it to this Gold Cup. So to me, it's a little concern, not because of any biases or ever, but the fact that our top league, we're saying that none of us, but you just mentioned those two strikers who
Yeah.
are the better two footballers in terms of attacking play in the country for this year. But when you look at those who are at the Gold Cup, we could say it's a fair choice. What say you?
I think it's fantastic, actually. Um, coming out of the work that we did from '96 through
Yes.
to the '98 World Cup that we played in, right, all the way through to now in 2023. Um, you know, um, Captain Horace Burrell and his team, they have created a football industry where none existed before,
Oh,
right? The byproduct of our Road to France campaign, the byproduct was football experts. We now have more football experts than what John can read about. Everywhere there's an analyst and an expert.
true.
Everywhere, yeah, I'm telling you, everywhere there's an academy. Coming out of that football program, you know. And it's so strange because there are people who you would have heard say that, oh, we just went to France, but nothing was done for the youth, etc., the youth program. While not remembering that we qualified right on the back of that for two youth World Cups, one under 17 and one under 20. Right? We had never done that before.
Oh,
Yeah, man. So Jamaica has actually been to 5 World Cups. One male senior, right? U17, U20, and 2 female. That is some good going.
very good
But
indeed.
yeah, so what has happened now is the best Jamaican players get contracts to play overseas. And that's a good thing.
True.
I am expecting that Stewart, right? Stewart is the one
Mount
from
Pleasant.
St. Anne,
Mount Pleasant, yes.
from Mount Pleasant, right? Yes. And what's the name of the other forward
And
again?
this, and this is from Cavalier.
And Avid Anderson from Cavaliers. Well, especially the one from Cavaliers, right? I can almost guarantee that these two guys will not be playing in the local leagues in Jamaica next year. So you are going to say the same thing. If they get called into the national squad, you are going to count them among the Jamaicans who play overseas. So it's a
So
good
that
thing.
it's really a good thing, because honestly, and I said I had the concern, because we want to see our local players get a chance to showcase with the national team, But it is what it is. We're all Jamaican, and we have to give rise. We have to say well, because I remember the coach really gave local players a very good look. They had about 2 or 3 games, majority local players. So
Yes.
that was, very good indeed. I remember when Simois came here, he was right around the country doing this sort of thing.
Yeah,
So
man. It's
Lowe played well in the last game. I'd say
yeah.
he was overlapping quite a bit. The constant attacking play of the boys allowed him that luxury.
Yeah, man. I think Lowe had a good game.
That's
Yeah.
true. That is true.
Yeah. I don't want people
Um,
to interpret what I said as him not having a good game. He's just
oh,
trying to, no, man, it's properly trying to tune a sports car. That don't mean the car not good and the car not fast.
hey, be careful of these examples. I don't sure if the car people are in the show.
Yeah.
I know one Prento is here who would believe that he knows mechanics, so let me not use the car as an in any example here.
Yeah.
Dallas Harris, PBA chairman. Greetings, all the viewers. Greetings, Dallas. Big up yourself. Um, Again, Captain, don't you think Collins or Stewart could have been on the GC team to
Gold
represent,
Cup team.
yes, the brand Jamaica Premier League?
Um, I didn't see the game. Yes, I could have based on what I saw. I didn't see the game, but I understand that they actually, when our team went over to Qatar and otherwise, understand that they were called for the national team. And I do know that if they were good, they would have to be playing better than Burke and Nichols to get on the squad.
True.
Yeah. So if it is that you are saying they are better than Burke and Nichols, then because that's how the football is. It's very hard to pick a team. Every coach will tell you, and everyone who runs the team, it's very hard because if Corey Burke is playing in the MLS, and if Nichols is playing, where is he? Norway now. If he's
He's
playing
in
in
the army
Norway or
for sure.
wherever it is, yeah. Um, you know, are they playing against the? It's gonna be hard for you to
Yeah.
bypass them. Yeah, this
But
is how difficult it
as,
gets.
as it relates to Shamar Nichols, he's very powerful up top. He can hold up the ball. He can win the ball. I think as it relates to our two strikers, they are more of power going forward. They don't do a lot of hold up play that I believe, but they have the ability, and the fact that they score goals at will. It's just a pity that at least one couldn't get at least in the squad to say, well, try and gain some traveling or
Traveling.
international experience.
Look here, we can't pick teams based on that, right? No, the team that we need to pick is the team that will give us the best opportunity to win. Now, I'm glad you mentioned that, and our the gentleman who just asked about them. I just want to tell you something, right? Shamar Nicholson, it's Nicholson, right?
Yes.
Yeah, was in exactly the same position as Stewart and Anderson. Yeah, as these two guys. Yeah, exactly the same position. And I know that very well because Shamar Nicholson knocked my side out of the Premier League in the last season he played for Boys Town here in Jamaica. Yes, he scored a header on my team in the last 5 minutes and knocked us out of the Premier League. So I
So
would have said that in that Premier League, he was probably the best forward that was in the Premier League, right? Yeah. So he got a
never got a
contract overseas. He's playing overseas. Yes, and now people looking at him saying, "Boy, it is the best forward from the local league who should be playing." And
but
this
I
is
really,
how football goes, yeah?
yes, man, I really appreciate it. I understand because we, a matter of fact, we are Jamaicans and we have a lot of compliments. We really think that those who are close to us should play. And it's just a matter, when you look at the debate that people have over, or should I say, between local and overseas based players, in recent past, we were not getting the sort of cohesiveness or the what should I say, the commitment from the overseas player we had. But this set is really a set I believe is better than the rest. But with that, let me ask you, maybe it's too early, but your view right now, Captain, this Jamaica team, man for man, and right now, are this team better than the 1998 team?
No,
They don't.
no, I don't think.
Man for man, they don't better.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And it's hard to go man for man. I watched a match recently, an old match, and playing for Jamaica in that match was you know Bomber Williams or Nandy Lowe, um, the real low. Yeah, there was some Wiley Boo, right? These guys were playing for Jamaica, and it was amazing how well they were playing. And
Yeah.
but anyway, I think this team can do it. They get a chance to put in the time and to gel, etc. I'm only sorry that without playing to go into the World Cup now, as opposed to playing into World Cup. Yeah, yeah.
Captain, I really believe, that Jamaica this time have a very good chance of qualifying for the World Cup. And I'm not saying that because the US, Mexico, and Canada will not contend the qualifiers. But really and truly, I think they have a bit more quality than the last World Cup campaign. And with that said, I am so impressed with the other teams as well because the other teams in CONCACAF are holding their own. Guatemala make a very good showing of themselves. I mean, at all times, I think Trinidad this year was very poor. I get to understand there was no competition going on in Trinidad for the last year or so and senior competition. So I could understand that. But when it comes to certain time, we always have a competitive game with Trinidad and so on. Cuba, Panama, the Honduras, the El Salvador. So I don't think it will be that easy. But on paper, I think we have a very good chance.
We have a very good chance, and it will never ever be easy. And the last World Cup, there is absolutely no excuse for us not being at this World Cup that went. None. I remember when the players held. I know I'm going to get some flack for this because Jamaicans love the players and they don't hold them accountable. But when the players stuck Jamaica up and said that if you don't come to a deal with us, we are withdrawing our services. And the only thing we need is for, I think it was Lowe who had some letter and interview and PR campaign and all kinds of different stories. That so long as we settled with them, then you can be sure that we'd be in the World Cup. Yeah, we never got there, right? And then I don't hear anybody come and ask them to explain yeah, to explain how that happened. No, man, this look here, we should have. There are so many World Cups, you know. They had set up a World Cup, the one in Germany. They set it up for us so that we could qualify, and we dropped the ball. We
Who
didn't.
set that World Cup for us, Captain?
The powers that be, and we didn't qualify, right? And then this last one, really, you know,
Oh,
we
yeah,
yeah,
it
we
was
gave
really
away the game in Mexico City, and hats off to the team because the Azteca is not not a normal place to play football when you go to visit that place.
my God.
You know,
Aztec.
yeah, I mean, yeah, just to walk to where your seat is and you're tired, the thing is this so far up in the air. But look, they we never held on, you know, as they put it, poor game management. We came back to Jamaica right after that. I think it had Panama next in the stadium, and
That was an embarrassing result.
we changed almost the whole midfield that did so well in Mexico never started. Instead of just tweaking and bringing in
I was
a couple of the foreigners who couldn't go to Mexico because of the COVID restrictions and what have you, it's like there was a wholesale change to bring them in, and Panama just walked through us. They were not what they beat us 3-0, something like that. That team that 3 goals better than us.
so you think that game was more of a technical blush? Would you hold the coaches responsible for that?
For that game,
Hmm.
yes, coaches and players, because when you're on the field, you're a player, so you have to take responsibility as well. So it's a joint thing, you know, I don't hold any one part, but that is water under the bridge still. What we're talking about is, you know, is our ability to qualify, right? So this team has the ability to qualify for the World Cup. We have to make sure we do all we can to make sure it does. But before that, we have to deal with one little issue, which is winning the Gold Cup and going past Mexico on Wednesday in a stadium which is going to be full of Mexicans, right? Full of Mexicans chatting all kind of cheers in Spanish, etc. And our guys have to focus and be disciplined and play out the heart and make sure that they come away with a win. I know we can do it.
You're not a part of the coaching staff, and I'm sure you're not as close to this team like former years. But what type of game do you think we have to play to get a past this Mexican team on Wednesday?
Very similar to the game we played against Guatemala, you know, right? They're gonna high press and they're gonna run fast. They're gonna run at you hard. Yeah.
So
And
we have to
yeah,
be
man. So
strong.
you, yes, and it's gonna be a very physical game, as usual. Just like I said, I mean, you know, it is the head that we play most of our football with, right? If you go behind one of these Latin players, and if you say boo, or look, they are going to dive on the ball, right? You don't have to tackle it. Just go behind them and say boo. They are going to dive on the
Right.
ball and scream out something in Spanish and look at the ref. Yeah, so don't run up there in the back. Yeah, if you run up in the back, they are going to just do what I tell you. Just dive on the ball and some Spanish exclamation and look at the referee. This is how they play, you know. So yeah, so so we need to use our head, you know, and we can play these people. Yeah, we can win them. Yeah.
So beating Mexico, it
Yes.
will be a showdown. I think our attacking play, on paper probably be the part of the game or the team which I believe is probably the stronger half. I think the attackers are very strong, maybe for what we know them to do. But
Yeah.
with how Leon Bailey plays, how Grace played, and also Antonio, knowing the strength that he has up top. And I think first half of the Guatemala game, we were too much playing that point game to Antonio. But neither Bailey or Gray could have followed through for the bars that he head off.
Mm.
I think they need to play a bit higher this time against that Mexico. So we probably have to get more work out of our midfield. If we can get an early goal and say a semi-attack game, I think that would have been very good for us. This is not the Azteca, so yes, the crowd will be wearing and cheering, but I think the front three have to come alive from early.
Right, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been getting the performance from Leon, from Chippy that I was expecting, but I'm hoping that he'll come into his own in the semi-finals and the final. Because I know he can do better than he has been doing. So we're hoping for him to come good. Yeah.
Captain Chippy, I heard
Yes,
him in an interview asking that if the fans know how much pressure that he has been playing under when he represents the national team. Do you think that's
yes.
really a factor? That's an excuse for Leon Bailey.
I don't listen. Hello, people. Nobody curse me. Craig, nobody curse me. I Craig put the ball under pressure. I'm just joking.
So is that the fun? Is
Yeah?
the money?
Let me tell you, everybody who puts on the national colors is under pressure, right? Yeah, man. Leon is a good player, and he can handle the pressure. That's cool. And I would think that he needs to, for right now, I think he needs to stop taking the spot kicks because none of them go into the goal, not even the
I
penalty.
them alone, of course. That is true.
Yeah. So but he'll come good. He just has too much talent for them to be able to keep him. Yeah. I think I saw a comment. I think I saw one of your fans saying that the Golden Boot player should have been on the
Oh,
team.
yes,
Yeah,
it's R again.
yeah,
Um,
man. Not
there
nice
was some.
comment. Not nice comment. 'Cause when England did that with what's his name, Best. Yeah, they were picked by the World Cup squad, and he was the leading scorer in English Premier League. I remember I cursed him and said it was because he was a black man. But the question I would ask now is whose game, right? If you look at it, who's the Golden Boot winner, right? If you look at him and look at the all of the other players, whose game do you think he should get?
Maybe maybe he has a view of me saying give him a traveling experience.
Well, you just carrying for the numbers. I don't
Well,
know.
not necessarily because maybe he
I
would got
don't know.
maybe a 5 minutes in one of these games and come up very big. Do
Could
what
be.
he does best.
Could be. So maybe you should have got Richard's game.
Richards.
That's what you call. That's what Whisper's name is, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Hello, Prento. That's Prento's boy. No? And
Yeah.
well, you believe that Richards is getting that is the experience that he's there for?
If he's getting it,
Based on what we saw so far, he
yes.
has got one game. Is it one game?
Yes. One game.
And he had scored two.
Or it's one game and score one.
Yes. So we haven't seen him since. So maybe is a matter of exposure and experience that he's getting.
Hmm.
If you want to give Anderson his game. All right,
Well,
Gary, it's hard to compare athletes, artists, and such from different eras. Too many different factors. Well, that's
that's
true.
true. That is, I buy that. That is true.
That is true, and that's why I asked the question in terms of a team, within the
Mm.
team. So, Captain, is
Mm.
G Prenter is also asking, why is the team gelling now compared to the last World Cup qualifiers with fairly similar players? Stick up Captain the saying G Prenter because I think I know the answer and he don't want to say it. But go ahead, Captain.
No, no, I don't know. Tell me what answer you do you know?
No, man, this question is for you, so I'm just saying,
No,
the way I see it, but like you're really thinking to answer that one.
I don't believe that there is the listen. There were some problems in the previous World Cup team, in terms of personnel. So but the problems are solved with the selections. I'm not going to target or pressure any particular player, but there are some players who had some problems. Yeah, who
All right. So the question that you asked, who would the golden boot comes in first? So I saying Burke, Bozar, Paris. One of those three, he believed that Stewart should have been involved for.
okay.
But again, as you look at it, yes, we
Mm,
can always think through that. But
mm,
let's just hope that they will do a little bit more. Hope the coach have them in the back of his head to give them a little run here or there because they are quality
mm.
and they are
Yeah.
goal scorers. So let's see what happens. Captain, who would you rather to play in the finals? Panama or US?
USA.
You're afraid of another 3-0?
If I'm afraid of another team,
3-0. Why you
no,
choose US over Panama?
because I want to beat them so bad I can't sleep at night.
You want to beat US bad?
I want you. Where you from? If
Captain,
listen, if you had a choice between beating Panama in the final and beating Uncle Sam in the final, which one would you prefer to beat?
to be honest with you, I don't have any preference,
No, well,
especially
I
in a
have a
final. No,
well, I
especially in a
have a
final.
preference. Well, I
I
have a
don't have a preference.
preference. Well, I
But,
have a preference because, and I tell you something, right? What
mm,
you need to do is to sit down over the years, and it hasn't changed, and listen to American commentators commentate on an American channel, be it ESPN or Fox Soccer Sport or whatever, right? When the USA is playing a match against Jamaica, and then you will see why it is I well want to beat them.
well, I do understand. And I trust me, sometimes I am watching, I think at one period of the game, the first game when we played US, I
You don't have
actually,
any you don't have any difficult questions. That's an easy question.
all right, boss, no
That
problem.
is, I
I'm
mean,
just
that
saying.
is
But,
that's like if you ask me who I prefer to beat, Cayman or Trinidad.
Captain, I know the sentiments. But
Yes,
the reality of it, though, the
yeah,
reality of it, who do you think? And,
hmm,
and as much as this is an easy question for you,
yeah.
which of these teams you think would give us better or more, competition? Harder to
Well,
beat, so to speak.
well. Let me tell you, right? The answer is still the same because listen, right? Um, with the teams that I've coached and the teams I've prepared, um, I don't usually get beaten twice by the same team. If I have the opportunity to play again, right?
Yes.
Well, I believe that with my team's superior preparation, and with our superior intellect, we should be able to beat you, right? The second time. We have played the US before. They are a known quantity to us, right? Panama is not so much a known quantity. Yes, we have watched them, right? And yes, we've played them before, right? However long before. But the US we played a couple of weeks ago or a week ago, right? And we threw away that game, right? So you ask me who would I prefer to play? I prefer to deal with the known quantity, right? We can beat the USA. I
I
believe we, I believe we can beat Panama, but I know that we can beat the USA.
personally, I would rather play US. I think US is right now maybe psychologically would be easier for us to beat than Panama. You know, Panama is running very hard. They are probably hungry more than us to win that World Cup. You know, US for more than one reason I would prefer to beat them. I would really rather to play US than Panama in that final.
US is a hard team to beat, and playing in the US, I'm not saying that it's easy. It's gonna be very hard,
It's not.
but
But
we can beat them. But like I said, yeah.
G Prento, explain that to me. Captain, remember
What?
US with Buzu, you know.
Yeah,
Sometimes,
that's not how you
sometimes
spell Guzu. Guzu is spelled Visa. I wonder if that's what he's speaking about.
oh, which one that? Go again.
V, Guzu is spelled Visa.
That one bigger than I am.
No man. Sometimes we get poor Jamaica. Sometimes we get some decisions from the referees when we are playing against USA. Man, it must be about a VISA. It can't be anything else.
So it's a reality. I think we will never. I don't see we getting a fair game against US.
We got a fair. The last game we played, we got a fair game.
But yeah,
Yes
well,
or no? Yes or no?
I don't think it's all that fair now. I've seen cards that could have gone the other way.
Yeah, it was. I think it was balance. And remember the man. Remember we got. You forget the penalty. We can't ball. How can we cry?
But well, you know what? That penalty is a hard ache, you know. That one is a hard bill to take. That
I
penalty
wonder
from
if you. I wonder if you have read the. You you read about the American goalkeeper coach.
no.
The American goalkeeper coach is a Jamaican, you know.
Jamaican by birth or parent.
Jamaican by birth used to play for Harborview. Matter of fact, Harborview is congratulating me.
Wow.
And if you remember watching the game, right at the end of the game, right, this black guy ran out on the field and he lifted the goalkeeper up
Yes.
onto his shoulders. Yeah?
I saw him. I realized that
All
he's
right. I'm going to read this came from a friend of mine. All right. Good
okay.
information. Right. Congratulations to former Harborview Football Club and Reggae Boy goalkeeper Ryan Gada Thompson. Now the USA goalkeeper coach at the Gold Cup. Ryan is guiding Matt Turner to make match-winning saves in his penalty stopping preparations. Matt made 2 penalty saves as the USA knocked out Canada by 3-2 last night after a 2-all draw in full and extra time. Goalkeeper Matt Turner also saved a penalty against Reggae Boyz Leon Bailey in the first round. Reggae Boyz 1-all draw with USA. Right? And it goes on in another section, right, where I read now they quoted from the US goalkeeper, right, speaking
Yes.
about his Jamaican goalkeeper coach. Ryan's helped me a ton getting ready for this game, right? Ryan, of course, as I said, is a Jamaican
He's
goalkeeper
a
coach.
goalkeeper coach, yes.
Yeah. It's been great to get to know him and to get a new perspective. He definitely helped me get ready for this game and what was going on to take emotionally and what it was going to take emotionally. Sorry.
Mhm.
He was the one who told me who he thought was going to take the penalty and where he was going to go. It was a big moment for him, a big moment for me, and I'm excited to continue to work with him, said Turner. Yeah. So the Jamaica goalkeeper coach told him that Bailey going to take the penalty and we are going to kick it.
But saying that to say,
Yeah.
one of the big parts in today's football is data gathering.
Data,
Yes,
yeah.
and looking at that penalty shootout with Canada last evening and the penalty that he saved for Bailey,
Mm-hmm.
all his good stops he has gone to his left. So I believe he's stronger to his left. That's
Maybe.
just my take.
Yeah,
As the
could be.
coach, if you
Yeah.
are the
I
coach in
wonder
that
if
fight,
I wonder if Bailey knows that.
well, I'm hoping the Jamaican team and coaches know. But if you are the coach
Yeah,
in this Jamaica team going into the final,
yeah.
and in an effort that we should go to penalties or if we get a penalty, how would you advise your players to shoot?
I wouldn't tell Bailey to take the kick.
Well, he's out of this.
No,
You that
seriously, not with Gray. Yeah, not with Gray and Antonio there. I wouldn't let Bailey take the kick.
so they advise them to go to the keepers, right?
Well, I don't know if I told you kick it to the keeper's left, the keeper not going to save it.
Okay. The way he struck it already, normally trying them very hard.
Yes, yes, yes. But listen, look here. We've watching football a long time, and I see Socrates hit a post in the World Cup. You know, um, I see Italy's brilliant forward.
Roberto.
No, not Italy. When Italy won the World Cup, right? I saw what's his name miss a penalty. So I've seen really good players miss penalties. So,
Well, that's true.
yeah,
Trevor is saying
and we, huh?
I was saying Trevor saying we can easily beat the second string US team.
Fine, yeah, whatever.
Captain, I know
Yeah,
you want. Let me see if I can play a little politics here. If the Reggae Boys should win this World Cup,
yes.
how much would this contribute to not just Jamaica, but to the JFF?
How much will it contribute to it will feather in the cap. As a matter of fact, even where we are now and what the team is doing is a feather in the JFF's cap. And when you say the JFF's cap, I suppose you're speaking about the president, about
The president
President
and the
Mike. Yeah.
JFF.
From what from what I'm seeing, it's going to be very hard to beat in the elections later this year, if that is what your intention is. Because I noticed that when you started the broadcast that you were congratulating the various persons. Do you recall that? You can go play the tape later on. You congratulated them about how well the team has been doing in the World Cup. You
That's true.
congratulated everyone except the administration of the JFF. Now, I don't want to be playing any politics,. But I'm just saying. So I
You
sort of
think I
noted
should
that.
congratulate them too?
Yeah. And that is how, unfortunately, that is how life is. And unfortunately, that is how the Jamaican psyche is. I don't know if it is because of our background and the plantation and what it is, but we don't give credit to the persons who are in charge. we don't do that. We see them as the massa or the big man, so them don't get any credit. Matter of fact, we'll target them at every opportunity we get. That's just how it is.
Well, I might can defend myself a little bit there. I did not say the JFF Iraqi army president, but I
Right, it
also
is.
did say all those who involved.
All those are involved. Okay, fair enough.
So I will at least,
So you don't think they were worthy of special mention?
well, yes, because we're going to know. And, as I'm saying, the JFF,
Yeah.
almost every recent tour, there are some major issues. And one tend to believe that if we continue this way, we will not be successful.
Mm,
I don't think there was any issue with the Gold Cup this time around. Traveling with the Gold Cup. Maybe it is, and it was soft enough to keep on the back burner. But however,
mm.
presently, the way things have been done at the JFF, especially with traveling team, the president and his administrator has been gotten quite a flagging for that, rightly so. But there must be something good also happening. Coming up to an election in a few months' time, without the competition, you're alluding to the fact that we have the female team as in a World Cup. This team might very well win the Gold Cup. You think that is enough for Michael Ricketts and his team to get another turn or to win
If
another?
if I think it is enough, I don't
Hmm.
even have I don't even have a vote. But there are other things. I mean, I think coming out of the heels on the heels of COVID, right? We have had two what I would consider as successful senior Premier League seasons. Yes, albeit run by Chris Williams and the private end sector or whoever it is. But Chris Williams and the private sector don't have any authority to run football in Jamaica. It would have to be the JFF that gave them that. The JFF led by Mike Ricketts. So it would be his decision, you know. So when it works, he's gonna get credit for it. If the thing was a dismal failure, then we'd use that to curse him as well. That's just how it goes. Yeah.
But you can look at it to Chris Williams and his entity along, or should I say, against the JFF would have, brought a little uncertainty in the future of the Premier League as it relates to plans that the JFF have. You
I don't
know,
understand it. What does that mean?
well, all right, let me put it this way: the JFF would have um, explained that for the next season they want to have 16 teams in the Premier League. So Chris Williams is saying no, it's best to have 10. And earlier in the season, it was all over that there would be no relegated team. I remember that clearly. And
Mm.
then in the latter stage of the competition, then there comes the
Yeah,
statement of,
I remember the vice president came out and made a statement, um, which turned out not to be, correct. Um, yeah, they needed to get that sorted out. So I still don't even know what the final. I still don't know what the final verdict is.
it,
But
a
one
statement
thing
that
is, one thing I do know for sure is that the number of teams in the Premier League will be a decision taken by the JFF, and in consultation with with Chris Williams and his team that's running the Premier League. Yeah.
you mentioned something, I don't know, but the truth is, Vice President Anderson, who made that comment of no relegation, and
Mm.
when he, should I say, changed his thought the following day, he was said that he sees like he was reading from the wrong notes
Oh, okay.
or the first notes. So, it's just one of those things that, everywhere you put the JFF involvement, so to speak, where critical decisions are concerned, they tend to have serious issues.
Well, it's not everywhere because the everywhere you're talking about is going to include the two Premier League seasons. It's going to include our team that is in the Gold Cup. It's going to include two World Cup qualifications. So it can't be everywhere.
But there were issues during those qualifications, Captain. Even presently,
Yes, there were issues, but the
World
people
Cup,
qualified.
even with the girls going to World Cup, no, there were some serious issues here and there.
Yes, there were issues, but they qualified. So would you
All right,
prefer for them not to qualify and for there to be no issues?
result speaks.
Listen,
All right.
results, I'm a goal-oriented person, you know.
Wow. Look at this. G. Prento said, I believe the first Canadian penalty that scored. The guy went to the center, thinking the keeper would have moved. They tried it again, and he saved it. he's a trained penalty killer.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. Yeah, man. A Jamaican trained penalty killer.
we can't
Why
say that.
why Prento left that off? Prento is a Yankee, you know. Why you left? He's a Jamaican trained penalty killer.
But he's a wagonist, so he not reached there yet.
Yeah.
He soon go on the wagon.
I'm arranging a seat belt for his seat on the wagon. So he can stop dropping out.
Captain, I know that it passed a bedtime, and we may very well have to invite you here to look deeper into the JFF, so to speak. And I know you will say you don't know much or you're not close, but we can always put our pieces together. And, looking at where we are, I think you'll have to come back closer to the elections to give us some more. And we plan just to stick with the present situation of the football. But if
I
there's
thought you were going to. Sorry, I thought you were going to invite. You're going to say that you invite me back after we go past Mexico and are faced with whoever it is
no,
who is
the
going to
plan is,
meet us in the final.
the plan is, well, all right, put it this way. I want to do a post match, a pre-match and a post-match for the finals.
Hmm.
But if you want us to do it for the semi-finals Wednesday evening, and no, Wednesday is a bad day for me to do a post-match.
Well, yeah, I'll let you know. I really will let you know. But I would like to just squeeze in, if I can. I'd like to
Yeah,
squeeze in
you have time
congrats,
in squeeze.
congratulations. Yeah, congratulations to the Jamaica Defence Force football team who have qualified for the final of the CASAFA Major League
All right.
after an absence of a number of years. Yeah.
Okay. I must say I have two of my past footballers from high school playing for the JDF.
Oh, yes?
Yes. So
Fantastic.
I mean, I don't know the last score, but the game they played that same Saturday while we were at your place,
Yeah.
Kambuji Makala, he was
Mm.
one of the scorers that afternoon,
Okay. So
So
it was unfortunate for me because two of my teams were playing against each other. Marvel Huenden was
yes,
playing against the JDF,
yeah.
and so I guess that means I couldn't lose.
It's a lucky thing for you couldn't lose, but which one you wanted to win really?
No, I couldn't lose because whichever one won, I would be a winner.
But I'm sure you were closer to the losing team. You
You
wanted the team
mean
that lost to win,
I was closer to which team?
to marvel
To
at the JDF in that game.
oh yeah, why would you say that?
You had, I mean, trust me, Captain. I know, I know the intention. I know what you have for Marvel. Is it
Just
that you're okay? So, people, that's Captain Keith White. As you realize, a very experienced administrator. But while he's back, let's look at this.
Yes, you with me or you're gone?
I am right here.
Okay, all right.
You know,
Can
just
you see this? I don't know if you can see it or not. Can you?
hold on. Let me have it on screen. Hold on, keep it there. Yes. All right. Allow the viewers to judge. Can you see viewers? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Talk to us about that now.
Okay. All right. That was yeah. That was a JDF team that I toured with in Bermuda.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
So you're very close to the JD.
um, both teams. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to find out which one your heart is really with. Or it's
No
just good
man.
that both teams are yours, so you can't
My
lose one.
heart was with both of them. Hold on. I'm gonna have to try to switch from the head so that I
Headset.
can plug the battery into my instrument here.
Okay. So people, while you are here, please remember to like the show. I just only seen 7 likes. Come on, 7 likes, and we still have 16 people on the show. We have gone over 50 odd views and only 7 likes. People, like up the show. All right, sanitize the hand and like up the show. Yes, Captain, we're back with you now.
Yeah.
It's a bit low. Your microphone is a bit low. Maybe you could give it. Turn
Yeah.
it up
Sorry, but
again.
what I've done is um,
All right, see if I can boost my volume from my side too.
yeah. You may lose me soon because
Okay, yes, man. Just have a few minutes to go.
it's, yeah.
All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, that was actually a JDF team. I'm actually very close to. Yeah, I wasn't able to attend the match, and if I was attending the match, I don't know which jersey. I don't know which jersey I could have worn. But I have to find a neutral color. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
that's cool. I know. So, Captain, I know that you want to go, and I will say to you that for the Jamaica team going forward, what would you say to Jamaica, the real fans, the wagonists that we are now encouraging to come on board? Talk to Jamaica, talk to the diaspora, Captain.
For those persons who are on board as true Jamaicans, and for those persons who need and are waiting to come on board, now is the time. Right?
Okay.
Now is the time. Get on board and support your national team, and let us push them forward. Let's push them forward with our prayers and our support. Let us push them forward, let them overcome Mexico on the football field, and then whoever is put in front of us after that, we will overcome them also. Right? Jamaica needs to win a football competition, not just a match. We need to win a competition. So that is
So
it.
that's just from the fan. People, I'm sure that Captain have a lot more to say re Jamaican football. And so in a short time, we will have him back to discuss more widely of Jamaica, the status of Jamaican football. Really, I want him to get it. This man has been following Jamaican football, the Reggae Boys, from, I would say, probably from inception. As you heard, he was a coach, still a coach. He managed numerous teams. You know, one must say, remember the good Jamaican JDF teams that he has managed. And all of that will come some more in a later on. So, Captain, I must say to you, thank you very much for gracing the Sardicrest show for the first time. I hope you will be back soon, but not just as a guest. Please continue to watch and to support the Sardicrest show because you have added value to this show tonight, I am sure. And many of our viewers would have learned so much, would have seen football in a different light, especially our good one and his friends who are here tonight. They do understand. And more people will, of course, be on the wagon for the next match on Wednesday. With good prayers, not just to be there, but they are expecting great things from this Reggae Boys team. Again, thank you very much, Captain. Have yourself a wonderful night. We will continue the show, but if you have the strength and you want, you can always stick around, whether on YouTube or right here.
Okay, all right. I'm signing out now. It was a pleasure being here, and we must do this again.
All right, most definitely. So thank you very much. And you can sign.
Okay, bye bye.
All right, so that's Captain Keith White, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you here, thank you very much for staying the course. Thank you for liking the show as well. Please give some more like and support. We want to just move, of course, to you know. We say, G Printer, your seat is reserved on the first class on the wagon. Why not? Bill, hi, Captain. We raise our shields. Why, dear, little late, man. I can't believe you captain on the show and you just are coming. I want to them young soldier, yeah, man. Anyhow, people, another part of the show we want to look at, as you have seen, we want to chime in a little on the new offside rule that FIFA has proposed. Or should I say, Arsene Wenger is the man behind the proposed rule change. The new offside rule. How much this new offside rule, how much do you know about the new offside rule? We have Dunga here who always know these things. You know. Tell me, Dunga. So the new offside rule, or should I say, previously, the offside rule was if you have a little beyond or before the first defender, then you would have judged offside. What is he saying now from Arsene Wenger and his team is to say that the entire attacker must be beyond the second to last defender, which includes the goalkeeper, for them to be offside. That's what the rule is saying. What would have given rise for Arsene Wenger to put across that rule? The questions that I would ask, I was hoping that my very good friend and referee, Kevin Morrison, Kevin Dr. Morrison, if you want show boss, it's all pleasure. Or if we have any notice referee, or those with the knowledge of referee, let me invite you, yes, to speak a little about the new offside rule. Now, is it that the teams or the competitions are not seeing a lot of goals? Is it a situation that the offside trap is being too aggressive, has been too effective, so to minimize the chances of the attackers scoring goals? Because if you want to make it easier, if you want to give the opponent a more advantage over the defender, that means to me, in my view, that the defenders have too much advantage and we are scoring less goals. But when you look at the Premier League and the La Liga, for example, there are so many goals that are scoring or have scored in these games. Mhm. So many goals that I've scored in these games. So I'm not sure the full reason behind that. I am really not sure. But I'm gonna get deeper to that. The VR in recent time could have assisted referees or assistant referees to make proper decisions or to correct the wrong decision. More often than not, there's controversy though. More often than not, there's a controversy, and there are controversies as it relates to half sides. Because in some game or in a particular situation, a player may deem offside in a particular match, but in another game, maybe in the same competition, maybe in different competition, with similar situations, the player is deemed to be onside. Knowing that we have the technology, it bothers me. It really bothers me the fact that we have technology to assist us. But the bad thing about it is what you put in, you get out. And the technology by itself doesn't work. So it is still the human error that is calling the shot. Yes, it is still the human error. So, G Printer, tell me about it. Current one is madness. I agree 100%. With the new proposal, need to be full body ahead. Exactly. It must be the full body. That's what RSFN guys say. It can't be just your armpit. People, so sometimes I read these things, I really laugh. I can't understand. But sometimes the explanation is saying that a man is offside by his armpit. Yes. So a man elbow could be over there and don't offside. But the armpit, to date, I remember a particular game where Sadio Mane scored a goal. And they were saying that he was offside by his armpit. I'm trying to bring up a particular photo, yes, to see if we could equate the offside. But what are the things doing, people? What are the strangest thing in this offside rule, especially with VR and the referees? The current rule is said to have give the linesman or the referees the option of their own view. We're saying at the moment, at the moment, a player is offside when they are in the opponent's half. Listen, let me read something from what the statement is. And I'm going to read it so we can dive into it. We're saying at the moment a player is offside when they are in the opponent's half and when the ball is played. Any part of the body is closer to the opponent's goal line than both the ball and the second last opponent. Get that knowing? Any part of the body. But in many decisions, that is not so. In many of the decisions that we have seen where VR is concerned, that wasn't the case. So it gives then the VR referees, those who are actually using the technology in the boxes, discretionary measures. There should be no discretion because my discretion and your discretion totally different. And that's what we have seen. Now, those opponents that we talk about last defenders. So it would have been the last defender and the goalkeeper. Yes? Can't forget about the goalkeeper and all of this. Alright? Now, we are saying that this rule will be tweaked. Yes, this rule will be tweaked somewhere in Europe for some competitions. Now, again, me like the issue where them talk about a man offside by arbiter. And I've seen where elbow stick out and that man is not offside. Yes, G Prento. It's strange because sleeve, toenail, heel, joking, killing the game and robbing players of their greatness. So G Prento, you are going for this position of all the body should be offside. That's what you are saying. So you like this new rule. I too, I love the new rule. It can't be that piece of you. Well, in the other side now, a piece of you can stay over the line and you're onside. So to be fair, it will go both ways. The defenders would not like it, but they can be adjusted anyway. Because we are saying, and what Arsene Wenger is saying, your entire body will have to be in an advantage position to the goal line than the last defender. All right? Now, we're saying that, and listen to this further, what Wenger is saying. Unquestionably, the news will leave the attackers feeling buoyant, give them a major advantage when they look to make runs off the back of opponents. So Arsene Wenger is carrying on an attacking game into FIFA. That's what people want to see. Goal scored. So very good. Naturally, a striker will balance themselves in a forward motion with their arms ahead to point where they are set to run. A much better position than a defender who is both having to monitor the ball and to track their run. So there you go. It's giving, of course, the attacker a greater advantage. The thing about what I don't like about it, I don't believe that any player or any positional players should get an advantage. But what is the best way to do this? What is the best way to do it? The defenders will have to get harder, you know. Yes, man. And I bet you any money, people, just remember this night that you will find more professional fouls in football from defenders. You're gonna find some awkward fouls and tackling. So let's see how well the teams that play high level football or high football, playing high defense line, how will they manage this new rule? Because a man can lean his entire body and just in big toe, just the toe of the boots, left in that line with the defender on the man side. So I would love to see how the coaches, the teams, the defenders work to combat this new rule. But I am really yet to hear from Arsene Wenger the full reasons why he believes that this half side rule should change. And not just to change, but to change to the entire body over the line. I am waiting for that. And I am hoping that for our next show this Friday night, Kevin Morris, yes, Kevin Morris will be able to give us details, yes, some more understanding of this rule. So this is what I am saying, people, and this is what I ask. I realize that many of you are afraid to come out and discuss this. Don't go what you say. What is your take on the news side? Peter McClatting, your weight boss. Blessings GP. pronto. The host and the rest of the viewers. It's G pronto, my boss. Respect Peter. So Peter, as a goalkeeper, what do you think about the new offside rule? A matter of fact, is everyone on set heard about it or no? Blessings. Huh? The new offside rule, I believe is geared to see more goals being scored in every single football competition. So, if we want more goals, that we want, we're gonna have less defense. So I think the defenders will have the hardest work to do in football. Yeah, must be. Now, the whole issue, ladies and gentlemen, the whole issue of this new rule, I am wondering if we will see the new rule be effective for the new European leagues starting in August. Will we get an opportunity to see the new rules being effective for the schoolboy football competition in Jamaica starting in September? How well will our coaches and our players adapt to this new rule right across Jamaica? Yes. How well? The other side too, we got to look at in terms of our referees. How much value will be added to the referees? How well each referee association, or let's say in the CONCACAF region, then, will be able to put in enough workshop, capacity building workshop to adjust to these referees. Knowing that VAR, for the most part, has brought a lot of controversy with offsides. And if it was so plain to use these lines, yes, that the referees don't have on the pitch, and yet still people, they get it wrong. I said this already, and somebody reminded me that it's not wrong to get it wrong. They use it to their advantage so it can be biased. But I have never seen it where it only in line or go a particular team only get advantage or disadvantages. In every match, people. In every single game I have seen that. You can imagine how much goal the animal in the Premier League will score next season. Hmm? You can imagine how Haaland will find himself with one on one with the goalkeeper. I can't. And when you look especially in the EPL, Haaland have scored that many goals. Kane have scored many goals. Yes, will score goals. We have a lot of players scoring double figure goals. So you can imagine the players who used to find themselves in a whole lot of offside by close margins. If they can hold that run, they will be very, very effective in front of all the season. There's so many players. There's, what's his name again? Where's Shane Long playing from though? Shane Long, that man from Southampton. I mean, South Africa. Oh, Southampton, sorry. That player, that man used to half side so often by close margins sometimes. Why? But You can imagine he really works on this rule. So, Peter, these rules that they are enforcing is damaging the integrity of the game. Americans want to turn this game into basketball rules. Peter, I tend to differ a bit from you, and it is not an American who proposing this rule, Peter. It is the great Arsene Wenger, former Arsenal coach. He's a FIFA development officer, so he has the right, so to speak, to do some of these things. Yes. So what I am simply saying is that it's not like they are turning the game into this report or to change the game Americanized. No, maybe, just maybe, that the errors that are made because of the controversial, some people interpretation of the offside rule, maybe this will, clear it up. This will allow more of us to understand or to see the offside clearly because it says, the entire body have to over the line. But again, when it just need a piece to over the line for you to offside, now you're going to need a piece over the line for you not to offside. Oh. So you will still have that controversy. I think so. Unless we correct or build the capacity of those who are using VAR people. And it is so sad for us to be using technology and still getting the thing wrong. You stop the game for some time for 30 seconds, 40 seconds, sometimes a minute. I have seen one time they stop the game for a minute in an EPL game and still come up with the wrong decision. I saw last night in the US um, Canada game. Canada, I believe, should have gotten a penalty. And remember, the referee did not call it. It is the VAR who asked the referee to take a look. And I could believe, normally, I'm not saying that it is right when they do it, but normally, when the VAR called the referees to take a look, the decisions change. So if the referees said no penalty, the ref they call it no penalty. If it was a penalty and the VAR said go and take a look, decision return reverse. But he stood by his decision after watching for almost a minute and he said no penalty. Again, I believe that was a penalty. Based on the rules, people, that hand was not in a natural position. Was it? But it was so bad that it returned. It came again in the latter part of the game. And guess what? It was the same player. The same that player seems like it's a handball competition in my player or something like that. He balanced the ball twice. But all I'm saying, when these things leave to the discretion of referees, that is where I believe the game gonna go in this report. And it makes no sense. I'm gonna say, well, VAR, you call the shot. As a penalty or no penalty. So yes, you call the referee to take a look. But how much is that look value? Goes back again to discretion. Maybe he want to feel big and mighty by just sticking with his decision. Mhm. Maybe that's it. But you tell me, and whenever I get the referee to get into this frame or the frame of mind, that with the new rule, I'm gonna do a poll on it. Mhm. So G Printer is saying the offside rule was designed to prevent goal rats, but then take it too far. But All right. So G, you can imagine you take away the goal rat advantage and them still scoring so much goal. Because I don't think the competitions are short of goal. I don't think so. You can tell me what you think. Look at the number of goals that are scored in Premier League. The number of goals that are scored in La Liga. Any competition don't score a lot of goals, the players then just not good. Big and serious. I not change my thought, that's my view. Now, there are some questions about this decision, not because of the decision for change or the change, but because of who actually made the recommendation. There are some people believe that Wenger has made some proposed change already and it never worked out. Yes. So remember at one stage, Wenger wanted the game to what was it again? I think Wenger wanted the game to reduce from 90 minutes to 60 minutes. That was a proposal that he has made already. We say he's a basketball player who? Wenger, the great Arsene Wenger. Yeah, man. But the fact that Wenger has proposed to reduce the game by 30 minutes, maybe what Wenger wants to do is to give more people around the world to watch football. There are some people would say that 90 minutes is too long to sit and watch football. More so like the Americans. But Wenger also other proposal to people. Another proposal I think Wenger wanted the World Cup for a what is it again? 2 year cycle. So instead of 4 years, they play a World Cup every 2 years. Maybe he was looking at a marketing strategies because if you can earn X amount of dollars every 4 years, maybe you can earn the same amount in 2 years from the sports. But I think Wenger never take into consideration the club leagues or the domestic league, so to speak. He never take into consideration the regional competitions, that the CONCACAF competitions, the African Cup of Nations, the Euros, and all of that. Yes? Because if every 2 years you're gonna do that, at what point will those competitions be run? But again, he's just looking at the world football. All right. No, I think there's I don't maybe RR who follow these things closely can pull me up or anybody else. Because we have a lot of football technocrats here. But there was how should I say it? There's another change that Wenger proposed. There, what was it again? There's another change that Wenger proposed. He wanted, I proposed to get rid of throw-ins. Yes? And said that instead of throwing the ball, we should have a kick in. Well, Wenger full ideas. Yes, and recently I think he proposed that, but I am not too sure if he ever take any consideration of those. I am sure that they never accept the 2 year cycle World Cup. They never accept the 60 minutes football. But I don't remember if they had further conversation with the kick-ins for it. The kick-in versus throwing would have been interesting. But you know what would have happened? Versus when they get that throw in, they would be able to put that ball further forward by a kick in. What is this chicken say? G producer. No, the guy that handled the ball twice. Oh, okay. Not too sure I follow. Give us some explanation on that, G Preto. Speak a little more about that. So we just have a few minutes to go. Yes. So yeah, yeah, but it would clash with African Cup, World Cup, Euros. Of course, if he should take the 2 year cycle, as well as if that should have implemented, maybe we'll have to forego one of these World Cup to start the 2 year season, um, just to ensure that the African Cup of Nations, you know, who starts in February, I think, was for a month. But I don't even know. But I don't think that would have been a wise idea. I don't, you would have actually put too much pressure on the players. I think you'd put too much pressure on the players. But then again, who knows? Many of us had concerns about the last World Cup in Qatar. That we break like the different leagues, go to World Cup and then return. We believe that the league wouldn't have been the same. But somehow I believe it worked. It brings a bit more anxiety. It brings out a more flair. Yes, a more push from the players to play football, club leagues, especially those who gone to the World Cup. Those who never went to World Cup decided that they must come with a bang. So it has its place, it has its pros and cons. But for change, never accepted easy. The change has never been easily accepted. So I do understand it. I do understand. So Americans want all games to be longer. So broadcast network can sell ads and companies sell more products. Dollars, dollars. So it's not an American thing then chicken. G Printer, you're saying that moving from 90 to 60 minutes is not an American view. Alright. I don't think it's the American view. It's Wenger. And Wenger just want to be current. Because all those changes that Wenger um, proposed to me is nonsense. That's the only one I agree with is the offside rule, the present one. But I can't take it for any reasons why Wenger would have won the game. Really, if he moved from 90 to 60 minutes? No, sir. Just after we moved from 3 changes to 5 changes? Oh, are saying too much change soften the texture of the game? Yes, but also on the other side of it, those who are coming up, younger ones coming up wouldn't mind. They don't business about the past, they're just looking at the future. But when you accept what it is now, as we say, the change factor is always a problem. Change never comes easy. But I really believe, I agree with you too, that some of these changes is really softening the game. Softening it by far. So, really and truly, people, we are basically at the end of the show. So let's just wrap up our discussions. All right. The US player who handles the ball twice must be about. Check it out from your G printer. Do a survey or research for that player. The man had the ball twice. And I remember at one stage, I think he almost handled it a third time. A matter of fact, who was I think he made a block. He made a block, but that was a very good one. And he hit his hand too, where he sliding has his hand close to his chest, locked to his chest, while he was blocked. But it hit the hand. So it seems like he's really a handball player. Well, maybe not basketball, but they have the handball too. Don't forget that, Preto. They have the handball. I want to leave you. ladies and gentlemen, with a point that Wenger is making, want to make his point very, very clear. All right. Now, the latest proposal, right, to change the offside rule, we can argue it. It come as a welcome change to most. Yes, I think it comes as a welcome change to many of us. You see, with the interpretation aspect of the rule, once you're gonna interpret the rule or the law, it always causes confusion and controversy. There's a lot of controversy, lot of controversy. So my thinking is, it's good for the change. The change is good for football. And with this rule, you will have less confusion and less controversy because the entire body of the player must be in the advantage. Not a toe, not a armpit, not a eyelash, not a sleeve. Once the entire body. No, we'll always know, we're gonna have a portion of the body, just a little bit, that may give an effect or affect the rule. Because if the entire body leans forward, gentlemen, and him just leave back him toe like, a relay button pass. So you lean forward running, and then a leg or toe they behind the line of delivery or pass of the ball. Then you'll have to watch that toe. You'll have to watch that line. That's where VR will come into play. Similarly to the goalkeeper, when having a penalty against him, he can move on the line across, but not over the line. He can also behind the line. So after the players kick that ball, the entire legs or 2 feet can leave the line. You can leave with one and the toes brushing on the line, just like the last penalty. That Canada took, that VAR reviewed because they believe, or the Canadian thought that the keeper has moved quickly. But that toe was just on the line at the point that the player hit the ball. Unfortunately, he hit the bar. All right? Or you don't even like VR, I understand. Again, that's a change. VR, it left too much bitter taste in people. Country. You're saying to me you have technology and we're still dealing with interpretation? Not with it. Wenger is tired of retirement, but I am always up for ideas. Yes, he has a lot of ideas. So nothing wrong. We're not going to beat him too heavily. We just look into it and accept if we don't. All right. If the VR was around, we wouldn't know about the hands of God. All right, you'd be surprised with the controversy we see in football. You'd be surprised. We see the goal still score with hands of God. Wow, I can tell you, this is really something. So, gentlemen and ladies, let me say a pleasant good night and thank you very much for staying the course. Thank you very much for joining us. This is where we leave you for this episode. I ask of you to join me Wednesday night. We will be looking at education. My proposed topic for Wednesday night will be zooming in TechVoc, or technical and vocation, being taught in primary school. It was introduced some time ago through R&T, but we have not seen it materialize. One, because of more so resources, both human and financial resources. So please remember to join the Sonic Press Show on Wednesday. We're resuming to TVET in primary schools. Again, I want to say thank you to all of you who joined us. Thank you for staying the course. Thank you for liking the show. And before you go, just hit the like button on your way out, people. So RR, big up yourself. G Printer, yes. Big up yourself right through and there you participated. You are the participant for the night, G Printer. You would have won tonight. RN, big up yourself as well. Peter McLaughlin, the man we call Pork Skin. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Everyone of Dale Thompson will just look in. Even though he was so afraid to talk to the captain. You wouldn't be punished tonight, Dale. But that's okay. Alright. Big up Craig Young, you came in late as well. Big up yourself for joining. Trevor told me to be captain of Piba. Big up yourself. You don't know football forever. Piba for life. And so we continue to say Piba. Pasadena Ballers Association, ladies and gentlemen. Dallas Harris, the PIBA chairman. Big up yourself as well, Mr. Dallas. Don't know out there in California. And I must say, big up to all of you who joined in. Mr. Lee, big up yourself as well. And I want to say a much big up again to Captain Pete White, who graced the show tonight. He has given us a good insight. He has given enough to think that Jamaica can make it and the Reggae Boys can make it to the final and also win this World Cup competition. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you and hopefully we'll see you Wednesday night and of course Friday of this week. This is we say goodbye and the Saudi Press Show continues to respect and love. Thank you very much for your support and we say goodbye. Blessings and Hannah. Goodbye.